Tallulah, and these are a few of my favourite things, darling. Today we're going to talk about an amazing book, or actually CD that I listened to, called A Curious Mind, The Secrets to a Bigger Life by Brian Grazer and Charles Fishman. I can't say enough good things about this book. I mean, I listen to it because I live in LA and I have a Prius and we need things to do, me and my Prius, when we're stuck in traffic on the 405. And I can't recommend this highly enough because it all is about the importance of being curious. Because Brian Grazer went out and he had these things called curiosity conversations, where he got in touch with people, and sometimes it would take him up to a year to get a meeting with somebody because these people are highly proficient people in their line of work. Okay, because for example, the head of police in LA during like the early 90s when things were hotspots in LA, people that invented the atomic bomb, the man that did that, Obama, before he was Obama, when he was in the 99th office, not quite sure what that means, but very far away from the Oval Office in Washington. And he speaks to these people because he's curious about how they got to be where they are and what they're thinking of and all that sort of thing. And the point about this book that is amazing is curiosity for me. It was just not a topic that I actually thought about or gave that much reverence to. I mean, I would consider myself curious, but it wasn't something that I really got into the nits and grits about how important it is to be curious. And he really inspires in the book the need to be curious and to keep being curious, to keep questioning why you believe a certain thing. And maybe there's another way, and maybe I don't know all the answers. And I tell you what, a few people in the world right now could do with being this curious about other ways that possibly people are thinking, that you might learn some, far be it you might actually grow some. Anyway, this is not for me to be on a pedestal preaching. I just want to say two other great things about this book are, one thing that I loved was perseverance, for even when you get no, just to keep going. And because he talks about Dr. Seuss, and I think Dr. Seuss got rejected 28 or 29 times. And imagine, as Brian Grazer says, if he'd given up on the 20th time, we would never have Cat in the Hat or my favourite, Oh, the Places You'll Go. And that would be a lot greyer of a world. So keep on going. And the second thing I really loved was when he talks about the time to be not curious and the importance of not asking somebody why they don't like your idea. Because as he says in the book, when you have an amazing idea, it's quite in a vulnerable stage. And if somebody doesn't want it, that's fine. But if they then start pulling it apart and going through the nitty-gritty of why they don't want it, then you may start to doubt your own idea, and then the idea may never happen. And personally, I can really relate to that. And I think I've never thought about it like that before, but how vulnerable your great idea is, and how if you're not going to get people behind you that can back it and love it too, then it risks being lost in sea and never coming to fruition. And that would be a disaster, darling. So I love this book. I can't say enough about it, and you should be curious enough to read it. Et voilà!